It's amazing how much you can see and do in just 2 days in spectacular Sydney, Australia. With a massive harbor and endless beaches, you'll no doubt spend most of your time in, on, or around water, just as I did. And with so many transportation options, that couldn't be easier. I'll show you where I went, what I ate, what I did, and how I got there. From fun-filled Bondi Beach to the Sydney Harbour Bridge. From the city's oldest colonial neighborhood, the Rocks, to wonderful Manly Beach. From the Sydney Tower Eye to the world-famous Opera House. Plus the coastal walk, from Bondi Beach to Bronte Beach. And Sydney's extensive, easy-to-use ferry system. It sounds like a lot, but in Sydney, it'll feel like a couple of days at the beach. But first, a little geography. I'll show you the 4 areas I spent time in, including arrival and departure at Sydney's International Airport. Next, a fairly quick Uber ride got me to Bondi Beach, my home base in Sydney. Then, it's a journey downtown to see sights like the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge. And finally, a fantastic ferry ride brings me to beautiful Manly Beach. As accommodations go, I tend to stay in Airbnbs, and in Sydney, I knew just where to look. No stranger to the hit show Bondi Rescue, I wanted to stay as close as possible to the world-famous beach. Lucky for me, there was a highly rated place available on Ben Buckler Point, just steps away from Bondi. This superhost stay came with a washing machine, plus milk, cheese, and eggs, and a low price that beat the competition, and hotels, too. Ben Buckler Point forms the northern tip of the Bondi Horseshoe. A short walk from the Airbnb toward the open ocean brings you to Sam Fisman Park. A lookout on a rocky bluff offering spectacular views of the beach. And close-up views of surfers riding strong waves near massive rocks, including a 235-ton rock that washed up during a 1912 storm. This area is an attraction in its own right. Don't miss the opportunity to watch the ocean go by from this spectacular vantage point. A mid-afternoon arrival meant little time to do much else but explore my new neighborhood. And what a neighborhood it is! From the sea monster guarded park, just steps from my door, a popular spot on Bondi, to the famous lifeguard headquarters on the other end of the beach. If you're a beach person like I am, a sunset walk here is about as good as it gets. I wrapped up my first few hours on Australian soil with a Doughboy pizza from a nearby shop. Day 1, my first full day in Sydney, is all about seeing the sights the city is best known for. And with little time to learn bus routes, I Ubered downtown to Circular Quay, the ferry terminal nestled between Harbour Bridge and the Opera House. First up on the agenda is a ferry ride to Manly Beach. Everyone will tell you to do this, to go to Manly Beach on the ferry. I'll be back to see the bridge, the Opera House, the Sydney Tower Eye, the Rocks, the Luna Park Landing, and other sights later in the day. As transportation options go, these ferries are my favorite by far. And they're so simple to use. Large display boards list destinations, departure times, and wharf numbers. Find your destination, head to the wharf number, and use contactless pay to board. Once the gates open, head upstairs. It's too beautiful to sit inside, so jockey for a position and grab the best outside seat you can. Everything about this inexpensive adventure is fun. Departing the busy terminal, the ferry takes you past the Opera House and the bridge before heading out into the massive harbor. You'll have lots of opportunities to take great shots and lots of selfies. It only takes about 30 minutes to get to Manly Beach, but it will feel like a world cruise as you pass so much along the way. Arriving at Manly, you'll head through the ferry terminal and make your way across the thin peninsula, passing through a beautiful plaza filled with shops and restaurants before seeing the expansive beach. Patrolled by lifeguards, Manly Beach features a tree-lined promenade that provides much-needed shade. Across the street, a variety of restaurants offer a world of dining options. For me, a fish and chips deal from Alice Dumpling Bar was a good pick. But dining-wise, there's lots to choose from here, so take a good look around. Manly has both a city buzz and a relaxed vibe. Its sprawling beach was home of the first surfing contest, making it one of Australia's most famous beaches. And today, it's a popular place to learn to surf. And just a brief walk away is a sea pool, great for families, and Shelley Beach, great for snorkeling. The walk back to the dock is a pleasant, sand-free stroll past historic Manly. Right next to the terminal, facing Manly Cove, is Cabbage Tree Beach. It's a place to swim if jellyfish are active on Manly Beach. The journey back downtown is the perfect ending to time well spent on one of the world's best beaches. And yes, as everyone says, this Manly Beach ferry excursion is a must-do in Sydney. Once back at Circular Quay, I hop on another ferry for the short ride to Milson's Point Wharf, home of Luna Park, the historic amusement park next to the northern base of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. It's a quick ferry ride, but offers great views of the bridge as you pass under it. Luna Park wasn't open this day, but that's okay. The 30-foot wide entrance gate, giant face, framed by Art Deco towers, was the draw for me. It's one of Sydney's most iconic sites. It's been here since 1935, though there have been several facelifts over the years. A walk back under the bridge leads to a couple of harbor viewpoints. Make sure to take notice of the massive bridge's base as you head uphill to the elevator that lifts to the bridge's street level. Built in 1932 to connect downtown to the harbor's north shore, the bridge is known as the Coat Hanger because of its arch design. You can cross it in a car, on a bicycle, by train, or by foot. You can also pay a sky-high price to climb to the top, but you can't take a camera with you, phone or otherwise. You might drop it on traffic below. While the bridge climb company does take a few photos for you up top, that restriction made me choose the street-level pedestrian route instead. It saves a lot of time, a lot of money, and offers its own spectacular views of the harbor, the Opera House, and the skyline. And you can cross at your own pace. When you cross, if it's open, you can climb 200 steps to the top of the south pylon for a higher view. There's also a museum inside the pylon. If you're considering the bridge climb, this is a more affordable option, offering a similar topside view. The south side elevator isn't far from the south pylon. Once on ground level, you're in the Rocks, the birthplace of modern Sydney. Established in 1788, the area's colonial history blends with contemporary Sydney in a vibrant entertainment district next to the harbour. From Fortune of War, the city's oldest pub, past George Street eateries, to the Museum of Contemporary Art and beyond, this is a creative hub, playing host to markets and events of all sorts. Spend some time exploring the cobbled streets discovering how Sydney's past and present work so well together. So next up for me, the Sydney Tower Eye. From the rocks, it looks close enough to walk to, but I would have saved time and effort taking an Uber. Opened in 1981, this 1,014-foot tower is the tallest structure in Sydney and the second tallest observation tower in the Southern Hemisphere. I bought my ticket at the tower, not online, and didn't have to wait to go up. Visible from all across Sydney, the Tower Eye has 4 floors, 1 for viewing and 3 for dining. The tower's gold turret can accommodate 960 people at one time on its multi-levels. Thrill seekers can pay extra to skywalk outside on the tower's glass floor, 879 feet above the ground. At full speed, elevators can take you from ground level to the observation deck in 45 seconds. My only regret about this visit is I didn't do it at sunset or at night. It's a beautiful view in daylight, but I bet it's spectacular at night. From the tower, you can see all of downtown Sydney, including nearby Hyde Park and St. Mary's Cathedral. It's an easy walk to both, passing the hard-to-ignore Archibald Memorial Fountain, a dramatic 1932 Art Deco display loaded with bronze statues. Just across the street sits the city's grand, Gothic-style Catholic cathedral, St. Mary's, begun in 1868. From outside, it's a magnificent building, but to see the inside, make sure it's open when you're there. Next time, I won't miss out. From St. Mary's, a quick Uber ride brings me to the last iconic sight of the day, the Sydney Opera House. I wasn't expecting it to be like this. Live music, below-level waterfront dining, I ate at the house canteen, and spectacular nighttime views of the skyline and the harbor. The Opera House itself is massive. Just walking around the building and climbing up the stairs takes a bit of time. Even without an inside tour, it's an incredible experience. The whole place has a great vibe. If I was staying downtown, I'd probably end the day here every night. Next door, Circular Quay is a transportation hub. Not just ferries, but trains out front, with quick links to nearby stations, too. So getting back to Bondi was easy to do. All in all, a great way to end a near-perfect day exploring this fantastic city. Day 2 is all about beaches. With water, sunscreen, and a floppy hat, it's time to walk the coastal trail. After taking in the murals painted on the south side of Bondi Beach, I head toward Bondi Icebergs. The coastal trail starts in that area. Bondi Icebergs is a destination all its own. Dating back to 1929, it's the only licensed winter swimming club in the world, started by a group of lifesavers with a desire to stay fit during winter months. Today, the famous Bondi Baths are a historic landmark. There's a casual bistro and 2 bars overlooking the sparkling blue waters, open to the public. As you make your way from Bondi to Bronte Beach, or beyond to Coogee Beach, each new site will seem more spectacular than the last. The all-around beauty really is breathtaking. This 6-kilometer, or just over 3.5-mile coastal walk highlights the city's beaches, cliff tops, and endless ocean views. It'll take 2 to 3 hours, depending on how often you stop and how much time you spend on these spectacular beaches. First up on the hit parade is Mackenzie's Point, a prime place for humpback whale spotting between May and November, and overlooking it is Marks Park. From either spot, you can look back to Bondi Beach or ahead to Tamarama or Bronte Beaches. But before you go to either of those, you'll come to Mackenzie's Bay, a rocky inlet that sometimes has a beach. They call it a mystery beach, No way to know when or if it will be there. Next up is Tamarama Beach. And thanks to short, fast, powerful waves, it's popular with bodyboarders. It's one of Sydney's smallest beaches, too, but it's considered one of the most dangerous in all of New South Wales for swimming. Walk along the shore, sit in a giant beanbag chair, or grab a bite at the kiosk before climbing up to street level for an overhead view of this beautiful beach. Next up, it's a short walk along a cliff-clinging path to Bronte Beach. Framed by sandstone cliffs and a grassy park, Bronte Beach is named after Lord Nelson, who was also the Duke of Bronte, a town in Sicily. So no, it's not named after the famous literary sisters, but wouldn't it be cool if it was? Conditions and amenities here make it the perfect beach for family fun. With calm waters and a natural rock pool, it's a popular place to swim or just play in the ocean. An ocean-fed lap pool offers one of the finest saltwater swimming experiences in all of Sydney. Built in 1887, it has 5 lanes for lap swimming, and changing rooms too. It's always open, except when surf is too rough. The beach and its park are home to a surf life-saving club, restroom facilities, picnic shelters, barbecues, a miniature train track, and playgrounds too. From here, a rock wall and a stair-filled, freestanding wooden walkway spice up the journey, leading to one of the most magnificent final resting places, Waverley Cemetery. Opened in 1877, during the Victorian era, it was instantly popular, in part because of its dramatic setting, in a valley between 2 ridges atop cliffs overlooking the ocean. Today, Waverley Cemetery is the final resting place for more than 100,000, including prominent people and everyday Australians. On this day, it also played host to a police team, honing their rescue skills on the majestic cliffs fronting the cemetery. I continued on, passing the Clovelly Bowling and Recreation Club, as I made my way to the small, sheltered Clovelly Beach, and then the Clovelly Surf Life-Saving Club. From there, a quick walk through a parking lot, and I was at rock-filled Gordon's Bay, a rustic home for great snorkeling and a dive trail. I turned back before my last stop, Coogee Beach. It's always good to leave something to come back for. If I had it to do over again, I'd probably explore the cemetery more and spend more time at Bronte Beach. But however you do the walk, it will not disappoint. The Opera House, Harbour Bridge, the Manly Ferry, and the Coastal Walk are Sydney must-dos. But 2 days and 3 nights at Bondi Beach was the highlight for me. It's everything I hoped it would be. This 1 kilometer, or 6/10 of a mile, white sand crescent beach, with 2 million visitors a year, is one of Australia's most popular destinations. Its waves draw surfers, while locals swim year-round at Bondi icebergs. Walkers and joggers use the coastal trail, and almost everyone dines in its nearby restaurants and drinks in its pubs. And popular, Bondi Rescue shows what the world-famous beach is like, from the mundane to life-saving rescues. If sand and surf do it for you, Bondi has to be at the top of your must-see list. Before I go, one last stop, a meal at North Bondi Fish, right next to the beach and just a short walk from my Airbnb. I had the soft-shell crab sandwich and the view. It was the perfect way to end my 2 days in spectacular Sydney. I hope this video helps as you plan your time in this beautiful, friendly, world-class city. If you like it, subscribe to my channel, Newsocracy, for other great destinations, including Tahiti, Hawaii, Majorca, London, and Queenstown, New Zealand, the adventure capital of the world. As always, thanks for watching. I'm Jim Albritton.